What's up guys, my name is Julie and this is the Curated Curvy, where I bring you along for the journey as I attempt to create the curated wardrobe of my dreams with these two hands. And today I have for you all a December makes video. So with the month of December coming and going, so has the year. First and foremost, Happy New Year to all of you. If you are a consistent viewer of this channel, then I do apologize for my absence, but December was a doozy to say the least, and I will catch you all up on that in my Friday Says video. But today we're here to talk about the clothes, so let's get into it. For the month of December, I didn't get to sew that much. I mean, I guess it's relative because I think I had about the same number of makes in October. Just for different reasons, I didn't get to sew that much. So I have 7 things to show you that I began and completed in the month of December. I want to say that everything I began in December I actually completed in December, which is a win. So I feel like I'm rambling. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's start here. The first thing that I'll show you is the Celeste Frock. This was actually the first thing that I sewed in the month of December. I did have the pleasure of pattern testing this pattern for Lydia and Naomi. This is her most recent pattern release, and it was her last, obviously, release of the year. It is this gorgeous, gorgeous dress. The wow factor of this dress is that all of the seaming is on the outside, and they have some really interesting, and she put some really interesting style lines into the dress. The sleeves are super cool. The seam of the sleeve, I don't know if you can tell by holding it, comes around to the front. The back is a 2-piece back, so here, and then this is the skirt. The skirt is also all just one piece that swoops around to the front, and then this is a portion of the bodice. It is such a cool dress, and once you get the construction down and the settings on your serger machine correct, then it is a pretty quick sew. I think it took me, like, by the last version of this dress, I was able to sew it in an hour and a half. So like 1 hour, 30 minutes, not including cut time, because cut time is a beast of its own, because this skirt portion is massive. This pattern calls for a little over 3 yards. Now, I did figure out that you could get it, or not a little over 3 yards, well over 3 yards. It calls for almost 4 yards of fabric, excuse me. But I did figure out that you could squeeze it out of about 2.5 yards if you were to cut the skirt portion on the fold, which I did in my second version. I don't have like a picture or like a video of me in it, but I do have a picture of me in it that I will put up on the screen. For that version, I did do some modifications to the pattern. So with this version of the pattern, this line here, which is like your bust, like kind of like your underbust, sits like on my apex, which I didn't like. You can't really tell in the pictures, but I can feel it, and it's just kind of weird for me. So I went ahead and I lengthened the bodice portion of this pattern, I want to say by about 1.5 inches, which I think was way too much. Initially my thought was to no, I'm lying, it was 3/4 of an inch. So initially my thought was to do 1/2 inch, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll need a little more, so I did 3/4 of an inch, and that was too much. I need to take it back up 1/4 of an inch like I thought originally. Because I lengthened the bodice on that version, then I had to also lengthen the back piece, and I didn't lengthen this piece, and it worked out well. For that portion also, in the original pictures, it seems like these two lines for her are a lot closer. So for that version, I just took this in some more by taking out width there just to get my images closer to what I felt like was the inspiration picture. And for that version, I lengthened the dress by 3 inches. In the original, like, not inspiration pictures, but in the original kind of like promotion pictures that she released for the pattern, it seemed like the dress was a lot longer, and it was hitting me like right on my calf. So like perfect midi length, like a little below my knee. And I wanted it to be a fuller length dress. So yeah, I went ahead and I lengthened that version by 3 inches. I did notice with all the other pattern tester photos that it was hitting at the same length on all of us. So I guess maybe that was just like a design feature that she went back and changed when she actually began to like work on the final version of the pattern, which I completely understand, because the longer the dress, the more fabric you eat up, and this dress can be very fabric hungry. The next thing that I want to show you is the same thing. So this is the Celeste Frock as a 2-piece, and then all of the seaming on this one is on the inside. So I wanted to see what the dress would look like if I didn't have any of that seaming detailing on the outside. So all of it is on the inside. and I didn't like it. When I tried it on, I knew immediately that I didn't like it. And when it comes down to fit and like wearing my clothing, I am one of those people who can determine really quickly whether or not I'm actually going to wear something. Like if I try it on and it doesn't feel right the first time, unless it's like 12 o'clock at night. 12 o'clock at night, my judgment is skewed. But if it's a decent hour in the day and I try it on, I'm awake, I'm alert, and it doesn't feel right, then I know that I'm probably not going to get much wear out of it. So when I put this on, I kind of immediately knew that like I didn't like it. When you put all of the seams on the inside, I have seen people do it that way on Instagram and it looks great on them, but for me it just took all of the interest out of the dress and it was just a black mock neck midi dress, which is very, very unexciting, especially when I know that there's so many cool details hiding on the inside of the garment. I couldn't do anything about it at that point. I couldn't cut it up and resew it because I would be losing all of my seam allowance, which would take me literally a size down in the dress, which is not like, that's not what we're trying to do. So what I did was I literally just cut it in half. Like I took scissors and I went straight across the middle of the dress and I hemmed the bottom for this shirt. This pattern does call for a lettuce hem and she does tell you how to adjust your serger to get that lettuce hem effect on your serger if you are interested. So I cut it across the middle and then I did the lettuce hem. For the skirt, I couldn't simply fold it over and add an elastic waistband because, well, I just couldn't. So what I ended up doing, I think I cut out like a 4.5 wide by maybe 2 inches longer than my waist. My waist is like a 37, so maybe like a 40-inch wide, 40-inch long, 4.5-inch wide piece of the same fabric. Folded that over and then put a piece of elastic in it to create a waistband. So this is what that looks like. I can probably show you better from the inside out. So this is what the waistband on it looks like. Really, really simple piece of elastic. Sewed a few stitches through the elastic so that it doesn't roll through washing and laundering. And then again, because I was trying to add back some of the interest that I lost when I just decided to sew it with all the seams on the inside, I cut up one of the slits on the front here. And then I just took my lettuce hem as I was serging it. I just took the serger all the way around and did a lettuce hem there so that I have, it's not showing up, I'm not tall enough. There we go, so that I have a slit in the front of the dress, or in the front, excuse me, of the skirt, just to give it some of that interest back. And I absolutely adore this set. I actually am going to recreate this again using this fabric that I have in my stash. It's just like a red and white stretchy knit that I picked up from a fabric store in Dallas. And so I'm going to use this to do another one of the 2-piece sets. I think in the next set, the only thing that I am considering, and I don't really know how I would work that out, but ideally I would like the bodice to be like an inch longer, a half an inch maybe longer, but I don't really know how I'd work that out. So it's something I'll play around with and see, but I do have plans on making another one of these. Okay, so next I did a little pantsuit set. So I will put some pictures here, and basically on my Pinterest board, one of the things that I do pin a lot are like these 2-piece kind of flowy pantsuit sets, like a button down and then a pants to match the button down. And I wanted to have a go at making that, and I chose 2 patterns. I don't remember the pattern number, so as I talk about them, I'll put them up on the screen for you so that you can see, and I'll also obviously always put the pattern envelope so that you can see that as well. So I chose 2 patterns and we'll talk about it. All in all, it was a fail, and I guess we'll talk about that too. So this is the pants that I chose. It is the Simplicity pattern. It's a long, wide leg pant, and it has an elasticated waist. I think the pattern calls for it to have sort of like a paper bag waist, and I kept a little bit of that paper bag effect up there, but not too much because I'm not really like crazy over a paper bag waist or the idea of it. So I kept a little bit of it, not too much. It does have inseam pockets. It is very long and very, very wide. The problem with this pattern is, for me personally, which I didn't realize when looking at it, is that when you look at the pattern envelope, the pants sit on her low waist. So obviously the pattern has been drafted to sit on your lower waist. I like my pants to be high-waisted, not on my lower waist. That for me changes a lot in terms of fit when I have more like room in my inseam, which is the seam that goes up your crotch, because as I am walking and moving and my legs are touching and rubbing, if my pants are more high-waisted, my fabric doesn't like smoosh together. The more lower waisted my pants, the more fabric smooching the more fabric smooshing I get in that area, and I don't find that flattering for myself. And if I am anything, I am very particular about the way that I like my clothes to fit. So with that being said, definitely a fail, but I'm gonna keep these to wear and lounge around the house in, because it's not the worst thing that I've ever sewn. It's just not giving me what I wanted. Also, I chose the wrong type of fabric for what I was trying to do. I knew immediately that this fabric was going to be a lot stiffer, but I was banking on the amount of drape that was present in the fabric to give me that flowy, easy breezy look for the pantsuit that I was going for. But while this does have a good bit of drape, it is too structured to give that loose, easy breezy feeling that I was going for. So that was the second problem. Not only did I choose the wrong pattern, but I chose the wrong fabric. I think if I would have gotten like the right fabric, even with that pattern, it would still be a little bit closer to like my inspiration picture. But all in all, it doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like. Now on to the top. So this was the top that I made. I'm pretty sure this is Simplicity 9720, and I absolutely love this top. Again, wrong fabric, right pattern. Or not again, but this time around, this was the wrong fabric, but the right pattern. This is a collared shirt, but it does not have a collar stand. It just has a collar flap and then a facing to finish off the neckline. Nicely. Only has 3 buttons going down the center. The original pattern, the sleeves are pretty short on it, so I did lengthen it a good bit, and then when I tried it on, I decided I liked that really long pajama-like look that the shirt was giving me, so I left the sleeves as long as they were. But the pattern does not intend for the sleeves to be nearly this long. In the picture, I think it falls like a little below her elbow, which I didn't want, especially not in the colder months. This was a super easy pattern to make and very satisfying to sew. Up. Sorry, I need tea. I literally have no problems with this pattern. I have no critiques about it. I think, again, it was easy, it was satisfying to make, and it is definitely something that I will keep like making in the future. I'd love to see this in a stiffer cotton, and I'd love to see this in an even looser cotton. But as for this version, I do plan on somehow integrating it into my wardrobe, because I really do like it and I really do like the color. But together as a set, the two pieces just really don't work for me. All right, next. So we talked about the Celeste Frock. We talked about the pantsuit. I feel like I'm missing, oh yes, my Ora Pinafore. So literally everyone talks about the things of their dreams. I talk about this is the thing of my dreams, but this was literally the pinafore of my dreams. Let me show you. So this is the Ora Pinafore by Soften Studio. Sadly, this pattern has been archived for the year 2023, as she no longer wants to sell it as a pattern, but rather produce it as a ready-to-wear garment in which she can sell locally to where she lives, which is in another country. So when I saw her make the announcement, like, I think it was like early to mid, maybe it was earlier in this December, early to mid-December, when she made the announcement that she was going to archive the pattern, I bought it immediately, because I knew that I had been stalking this pattern all year and I would regret not getting my hands on it before it was archived. And so I went ahead and I bought the pattern, and I have no regrets. This is literally the pinafore of my dreams. It is long, it is flowy, it's heavy, it's warm. It has an opportunity for so much fun detailing. One of the things, if you look up the hashtag for the Ora Pinafore on Instagram, a lot of people play around with the top stitching. It's just a really fun way to get a super customizable dress at the end of the day, and so obviously I wanted to do the same. So I did the top stitching around the neckline, I did it around the arm, down the center of the front, down the center of the back. I did more lines on the pockets, and then I did 3 lines down here on the hem, and then even more. This pattern, I mean, I feel like it'd be a moot point to get into all of the intricate details of the pattern just because it is no longer available, which is really unfortunate. But this is the last thing I made of 2022. I was sewing on New Year's Eve, literally finishing up this dress, and it is definitely one of my favorite makes so far, probably one of my favorite makes of the year. Replaced my old favorite make of the year by far. Love this dress. I even like sewed one of my little tags into it. A while ago I was experimenting with making tags on my own, and at Joann's they sell basically like fabric that you can feed through your printer as printer paper. So I played all around on Canva and I came up with these cute little tags. Says the curated curvy, then has like a little lady in a bikini who's curvy on it. And yeah, I put that on there just so that I would know for sure the front and the back of this dress, because they are very, very similar. And yeah, that is it. If you are interested in a dress like this, Schultz Apparel does have the Kaja Pinafore pattern, which is a really great pinafore pattern, and I have sewn it up. That dress is a shift A-line, like not a shift and A-line don't go together. It's more of an A-line, excuse me, style dress. I actually have it here. So this is the Kaja Pinafore. So as you can see, they're pretty similar. The only difference is that the Kaja Pinafore has, or not the only difference, but the Kaja Pinafore has a higher back, but that is an easy modification. I actually modified this pinafore to have a lower back in this version. So if you are interested in something like the Ora Pinafore, then you could purchase the Kaja Pinafore, do some modifications, definitely lengthen it, and you'd have something pretty close to the Ora. All right, last thing I want to show you. I think I said in the beginning of the video that I completed all of my pattern or my projects for the month of December. Actually, not quite. I'll explain. So this is Vogue 1914 yet again. I did sew this up in that beautiful golden brown chenille fabric that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, which I have a whole video on, and I will link wherever the videos go on the top. This is another Vogue 1914, and this time I wanted to play around with the sleeve, so I slashed and spread the sleeve to oblivion. There's something very sketchy on here. That's interesting. So I slashed and spread the sleeve to oblivion, and then I added a cuff to it, and I really like how it came out. The only thing that I realized afterwards was that I need to take a little bit more length out of the sleeve and add a little bit more to the cuff, but very, very happy with it. The last thing to do for this is to sew on the buttons. I have sewn on the buttonholes. I haven't opened them up yet, but I want to sew a very specific button on here, and I'll show you that. Oh, let me see if I can get it up. So this is the button. Come on, you can do it. Can you do it? Yeah, there we go. This is the button that I have chosen for it. It's this really, really like pretty like pearl-like button, and it's hard to kind of show them together, but I think it would just be really, really sweet on this cardigan. And these buttons have to be hand sewn on, so that's been taking a while to get around to. It's honestly just going to take proper motivation and me really wanting to wear this clothes, because I've worn it quite a few, so much so that there's a giant food stain on the back of the sleeve, and I can just wear it open. And so until, excuse me. And so until I get to the point where I have the urge to wear it closed, it's probably just going to remain like this, waiting for the buttons to be put on. I absolutely, if I haven't said it already, love Vogue 1914 as a cardigan pattern. I have sewn my fair share of cardigans. In one of my videos, I don't know if it's probably gonna be out before or after, I don't know when it's coming out, but one of my videos where I'm doing my reflections, I talk about how I kind of like chickened out on my sewing and like leveling up my sewing skills in the year 2022. And as much as I love outerwear, I was kind of scared to sew jackets, so I sewed a lot of cardigans, and I have not come across a cardigan pattern that I feel like is as good and fits as well as this one. I love how they do the facing. I was very apprehensive initially when I saw the pattern and I realized that it had a facing for the cardigan, but it makes the world of difference. And I think going forward, I cannot imagine doing a cardigan again without it. I feel like it just levels it up and gives it so much of a like clean finish on the inside, and structurally adds more to the cardigan, like again, which is something that I wouldn't think was necessary before, but having done it now, I cannot imagine going back and not having it that way. All right, and those were my final makes for the year 2022. Crazy. 2023. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's it, guys. That is it. I'm still very much shocked that the year has come and gone and we are beginning a new year. Again, if I haven't said it already, which I think I did, but again, happy new year to you all. I really hope that like this year we all just go after what we want. Like these last few years have been hard on everyone, you know, and coming out of that, I want us all to smile more and to laugh more and to enjoy more and to pursue our passions harder than we did before. That is my plan for 2023. Best wishes to you and yours. Until next time, y'all know, stay beautiful, keep making great things. I will talk to you soon. Bye.